Excuse me, sir, is this the Delta House?
Sure. Come on in.
They have cold beer and action on the game.
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
It's time for the Degenerates Next Door.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Feeling good, feeling refreshed, back from Vegas where, shocker, I did degenerate stuff.
What a charmed life you lead, where you're just like, hey, you want to go to Vegas? I was like, I have a kid and a wife. You're like, I'll take care of it. No problem.
I basically offered you a free trip to Vegas, but you had to be responsible. You had to be a dad.
My favorite thing is, so you just decided you're going to have an impromptu trip to Vegas, which was awesome. I'm so glad you did that. And you're like, hey, man, you want to come? I'll take care of everything. And I was like, man, I'd love to. It was real nice. I was like, but I got a kid. I think my wife might frown upon that. Like, I got to kind of burn my days where I'm not parenting, doing, work stuff. And you just, like, the response from me is like, I'd so let you down, as though I'd somehow besmirched you. That I didn't take up your 6-hour notice offer to go to Las Vegas.
If somebody comes to me and says, I got a free airline ticket for you, I got a free hotel room, all you got to do is come with me. We're leaving in 3 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. I'm in.
Yeah. Your kids are
I'm
older,
ready to go.
Kids are older. You don't have a 20-month-old.
Yeah, but even if they were younger, like...
I abandoned them anyway.
I covered 2 Super Bowls when I was younger, and my kids were both real little at that point.
But you were working. Like, you were working, air quote. Like, you have the excuse, I was working, right?
Correct.
And I got your bowling event Friday night that I got to go to, and then we got that.
You get to go to.
Yeah. They got the thing Saturday. We're going to the Dana Carvey, a David Spade event.
Fundraiser for Degenerate Special group, yes.
I got to have my dad's got to watch the kid. My mom got to watch the kid then. So it's just like, I got these things this week, and then if I tell my wife, hey, I'm going to go gamble with Hammer in Vegas, good luck.
See, my wife would look at it, because, again, she's the crazy coupon lady. You don't have to buy the airline ticket. You don't have to buy the room. Go have fun. Here's your budget for, what you can spend. Knock yourself out.
Here, in fairness, I did mention it to my wife. I said, Hammer would like me to go to Las Vegas with him. And she just looks at me, and my wife is the master of this, like not telling me no, but making me feel guilty. She's like, well, if you want, I guess I can watch Livy.
Oh, that's not good. I guess.
I was like, really? I mean, she knows I'm not going to do it because I have a phobia of flying anyway. She knows
See, I don't think you presented it the proper way to the wife. You got to go up to her and go, hey, I know this is last minute, but this type of opportunity does not come along very often.
Right.
Hammer offered me free airline, there and back, free hotel room, my own room, just for 2.5 days in Vegas. What do you think? See, that's how you present it, not, hey, can I go do degenerate stuff? Can we go be a 2-man wolf pack in the Las Vegas desert looking for cocaine and women?
I was heartbroken, too, because it would have been so much fun. It looked like you had a blast.
Oh, man, I had a great time. And I got to be honest, though, for those who haven't been to Vegas in a while, or maybe you've never been, you've got to get all this TV movie stuff out of your head that, it's the cheap buffet. It's the cheap shrimp cocktails. As long as you're gambling, they're going to bring you some drinks. Those days are gone. Now, I stay mid-strip, right? I stayed at the Flamingo, one of the cheaper hotels on the Las Vegas Strip. But I like it. It's right there in the middle.
Because there's really, if you've never been to Vegas, there's like 2 options. I actually went to Vegas on my honeymoon. That's where my wife wanted to go. And there's like the Strip, right? But then there's another part.
Downtown
that also has all the casinos and everything.
Fremont Street.
Yes.
And it's much cheaper, and there's the big canopy, and that's where Golden Nugget and all that stuff is at. But if you're on the Strip, it's predominantly either a Caesars Resort or an MGM Grand Resort. And some are nicer than others, right? The Bellagio, big nice one. Caesars, big nice one. You go down a little bit, the Wynn, the Encore, all that kind of stuff. Flamingo is old, man. Goes back to the old, Bugsy days. But it's one of my favorites. It's a throwback. And on a Monday night off season, you can get a room for like $39.
I was going to ask you, what does a room run in the middle of the week at a hotel like that?
Again, at the Flamingo, Monday, where there's no football, no conventions or anything like that going on, it was about $39.
That's a good deal.
But the resort fee, this is how they get you now.
Oh, yeah.
$50.
Oh, so it was $89.
The resort fee is more expensive than the actual rate of the room.
What are you even paying for? What does that resort fee supposedly cover?
I don't know, because you'd have to buy Wi-Fi too.
Oh, wait, they don't give you free internet?
No, not at the Caesars properties. Now, it was a great time. Again, you get what you pay for, I guess, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, they nickel and dime you, man. It's not like the old days. And on top of that, so I'm going over to the Caesars Sportsbook, right? And I'm watching Pacers and Nuggets on Monday.
Yeah.
I put a $50 bet down on the Pacers
Does
game.
somebody see you do this? Like, they know what you've done? Somebody's aware of what your bet total was? I mean, like...
yeah, at the window. I didn't use an app.
Yeah.
Had an actual ticket in my hand, like
Sure.
the old days.
Yeah, so you have proof. I've spent X amount with you guys.
Kind of felt good to be like old school, having a ticket in your hand, right?
You needed a fedora and a cigar, and the whole
Right.
thing would have been complete.
Oh, I would have loved it. But $50, it's not, earth shattering, but that's a decent bet on a random NBA game.
Sure.
You can't even get a single drink ticket for a $50 bet at the sportsbook now.
What?
That doesn't warrant one Miller Lite, one Coors Light, nothing.
Okay, so what for people? I assume most people listening to the show would know, but just if they don't, when you spend a certain amount, there's some usually reasonably well assembled woman who will like walk by and be like, "Can I get you anything?" And then they kind of look at your drink ticket or your bet tickets, and they know how much you're spending.
Or they'll give you a ticket actually after you make your bet. Just like
really?
a little ticket and give it to the waitress. And,
yeah. And, the waitresses there are interesting because they're sort of like strippers in the sense of they pretend to be interested in you, but they're really not.
Right. They get assholes like me in there all the time, right? All the time. But, again, I would think that a $50 bet on a slow Monday would warrant at least one Miller Lite.
Keep you going, right?
No.
Premise is, you lose a $2 Miller Lite, and if a guy bets another $100, what a deal.
So at Caesars Palace, which I love their sports book, great comfortable seats, all the TVs you could imagine. It's one of my favorites. You have to bet at least $100 to get one drink ticket.
Wow.
Or if you're one of their regular players and you've got like diamond status on your account or whatever the hell they call it, then you get a drink ticket for your bet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not normally a Caesars player.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sports book I normally use is my app here at home in Indianapolis, right? So, yeah, $50 bet does not get me a free drink ticket. You factor that in with the ridiculous resort fee, man, it's just not like it used to be. And I know I sound like old man yelling at the cloud, but damn.
No. I think you're fine on this. As somebody who is one of the cheapest people alive.
I figure this is in your wheelhouse.
It totally is, because you're right. I mean, it's really a bad business move, because the premise is, especially on a slow night, you want to entice people to keep doing the thing.
Right.
How much does that drink actually cost? And like, what's the hard cost? Like I said, what, $1, $2? Even if you got a mixed drink of some sort.
Well, they're going to charge you for about $7
Well, I know,
now.
but I'm saying their actual cost. Like, what's your investment? And if you bet on 2 or 3 more games because you're interested and you stay there and sit there, odds are you're going to lose half of them and win half of them.
Right.
So the house is going to make the 10%, the juice, whatever.
The longer you stay there, the more the house has the advantage.
Right, exactly. Plus, then maybe you get a hair up your ass and you end up at the blackjack table or, whatever. Boy, that's bad. That's a bad bet. Were there any good-looking drink carriers? Did you find any?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You kidding me? The Las Vegas Strip? It's like the World Series of tits.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a cocktail waitress, this is where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
If you're really good at doing show tunes and dancing, you want to be on Broadway.
Yeah.
If you're a cocktail waitress and you're well assembled, you want to be on the Las Vegas Strip.
I used to wonder this. We talked about this. I do a midday show here in Indianapolis, and we're number one, and you're number one in the afternoons. And we talk quite a bit about a lot of the theories and philosophies I have as it relates to people. I learned there's a little village outside Indianapolis called Broad Ripple, and it's where it used to be. It's kind of changed now, where all the kind of college kids and younger people would go to party. And I would be a person who I'd like to sit, not at like a bar where people are getting super intense, but I'd like to go someplace like with a patio view where I could just sit and you could watch the people walk past, and I would like wonder what these people's stories are as I would watch them, and I'd try to kind of put their stories together, and it has served me well in life. And I wonder, like, when I went to Vegas, I wondered, like, what are these people's story? Like, if you're a well-assembled woman, you're going to spend your life like serving drinks. There's so much more you could do in the OnlyFans. Or not that I'm condoning that, but I'm just saying like it's
you could do both there.
Well, it's
you could
true.
also go dance at the Sapphire. I mean, you got options.
Do they make money doing as the waitress? Like, do they make pretty good money being a cocktail waitress in Vegas?
I would think so. Yes. Now I've not seen their payrolls, but if you can't make money being a well-assembled woman serving drinks on the Las Vegas Strip, where can you do it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because people will go there for vacations, to blow the family nest egg, to get away from crap all the time. And it's the destination.
And as a lot of people go there, it's not. Is it families? It's not families, right? It's dudes. It's like guys doing what you're doing.
Right. You do see a lot more kids than what you used to, but it's mainly dudes. And it's a lot of weed now.
Yeah.
Now, this is a topic for a separate, discussion. I'm not anti-weed. Back in college, I was very pro-weed. I probably haven't smoked weed since college. If you want to legalize it, that's great. If it brings money to your state, that's great. But it's so overwhelming when you walk down the Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
Like, you can't have that Ocean's 11 moment where you're standing at the Bellagio fountain anymore, where you're just soaking it in and you're thinking and you're reflecting and you're happy to be there and you're watching the fountains go up because Dr. Dre has got a fatty lit next to you and the guy on the other side's got one too. The whole Strip, it's overwhelming weed.
So one of the things, Hammer, that I thought that if I could do my life over again is like from ages, I don't know, say 21 to 25, I would have taken like 4 years and lived in a different city every year. So you rent, an apartment for a year. You don't get a bunch of furniture. You don't have a big collection of stuff. You're not staying forever. And I would have thought Vegas would have been one of the cool places to do that, to be like a local bartender somewhere, be in on the action every night. You're around these people. Because there is something oddly endearing over the fact that at 3:30 in the morning, the world is just beginning for some of the people around you. Like you're never done. You're never where we live here in Indiana, right? Like society shuts down at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. That place, someday people's day is they're in the prime of their day at 3:30 in the morning.
Dude, you could have a great conversation with the people at your blackjack table at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's when the lower table minimums come out. I was talking to these dudes that were in town for a software convention from Salt Lake City at the blackjack table, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and just shooting the crap, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I'm glad you had fun, man.
All right, so we've got our professional handicapper, David Stefanoff. He's got a college basketball play for you coming up in just a little bit. But first, this is a betting show. Now, we talk about degenerate stuff like going to Vegas and waitresses with big cans. But we also bet on games. And yes, I've got action tonight.
I want action tonight. Satisfaction all night.
We're going to go to the association tonight. A little NBA on a Thursday night. Denver at Milwaukee. Interesting ball game here. Milwaukee at home hosting the Nuggets. Nuggets have been on the road for a while, but Denver is a 4-point road favorite. The over-under, 240.5. Now, shop around, use Stat Factory to find the best number. Make sure you get that hook, 240.5, because I think that's in play here.
Ooh.
Each of the last 4 games between the Nuggets and Bucks have gone under the total. And this number, 240.5, that's around the same total as the game that I bet on in Vegas, Denver at the Pacers on Monday. And the Pacers play a much, much faster style, and that game still went under. And Denver's been on the road for a while here. Bucks have got some dudes out. Pat Connaughton out with a left calf strain tonight. Bobby Portis Jr. out due to a league suspension. Giannis is a go, but he's dealing with a left calf strain. You factor all this up. Road-weary Nuggets, slow pace for Milwaukee, some dudes out. I like the under in this one, 240.5. I just feel like that's a little too steep for my blood, considering this could be a game where Denver shows a little bit of wear and tear on those legs. I'm going under, baby. Cue up the band. Under 240.5. Denver at the Bucks tonight. All right, going to take a little break here. When we come back, David Stefanoff of FollowNeverFade.com will join us. He has got a college basketball play for you. We are the Degenerates Next Door, brought to you by StatFactory.io. It is the Degenerates Next Door. I'm Jason Hammer. Rob Kendall right across from me. We are brought to you by StatFactory.io, your one-stop shop for all things sports betting statistics. And joining us now on the hotline, I believe he's in line at the airport, flying somewhere where there's no doubt in my mind he's going to make so much money he can be above the law. He is the man behind our college basketball winnings, David Stefanoff of FollowNeverFade.com. David, where are you traveling to?
We're heading to Nashville. We're going to spend the weekend in Nashville seeing Billy Strings concert, bluegrass picker. But tonight we'll be at the Winnipeg Jets Nashville Predators game.
Okay.
That tonight.
All right.
Yes, sir. But thank you for having me, Hammer and Rob. I'm looking at the Horizon League tonight, Hammer. I love the Horizon League. I love the IUPUI game with Robert Morris.
Good Lord. I thought the Degenerate Special was coming up later in the show, David.
Oh, man, I love this game. Let's just say this. Robert Morris put up a 100 spot on IUPUI last time they played. Tonight, the O-runner sitting at 149. I don't see anything changing from the first case scenario. IUPUI's got better since then. That's probably IUPUI's worst game of the year. They're actually they're not the IUPUI of old, not at all. But I love this total to go over 149 points. The Horizon League is really pretty down this year. Oakland, remember last year, made a big run. If there's one team on the Horizon League that's going to make a run this year, it's going to be Robert Morris. They got a great coach. Andy Tooley probably won't be there after this year, but I like Robert Morris. They'll be sneaky there to probably win their tournament here in the Horizon. But I like Robert Morris. I like our IUPUI Jaguars over 149 points, Hammer. That's my favorite play of the day on the board.
Okay. All right. Now, for somebody listening that might not be familiar with IUPUI, that's kind of the slang term now. If you're listening to us in a different state, which we do have listeners in different states, it's now IU Indianapolis, right?
Yes, sir. That's why we're locals. We're used to calling it Ooey Pooey. Yes, it's been changed. IUPUI is now Indianapolis.
It's still the Hoosier Dome to us. It's still Deer Creek to us.
Carina, Deer Creek, yeah. But the Jaguars are not the Jaguars they were for the last 5 or 6 years. Doormats. They're getting better. So take the over tonight. And Hammer, it's March Madness is almost here. March 1st is Saturday. You can get all my plays. I got a March Madness package available, $200. All my plays, every college basketball play, every NBA play from now till the end of the NBA season. And while college basketball is going on, I'm throwing in baseball for free. $200, you get almost every play I got to the end of college basketball. Jump on board. Doing pretty good so far in college basketball. Been hitting our 40 unit plays more than we win, than we lose. That's our saying. But jump on board. We're on all platforms every day with free plays. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Give me a like. Give me a holler. Easy to reach out to. $200 March Madness package available. I thank you, Hammer. I thank you, Rob. And my Degenerate Special. That's right. IUPUI Robert Morris over tonight.
I feel like he should have to pay me a royalty for doing a Degenerate Special, right? But like they say, the best compliment is somebody ripping off your bit. At least that's what we say in the radio world, right? And there are people that rip off our bits. Little inside joke for the folks that know where Rob and I work at. All right, so you heard David Stefanoff right there. FollowNeverFade.com. A great site. Sign up for his VIP services. And he is on the over tonight. Bobby Morris. Robert Morris taking on IU Indianapolis, the artist formerly known as the IUPUI Jaguars. And yes, it's Jaguar, not Jaguar. There's no W in the program and in the way you pronounce it. Although IU Indianapolis first-year head coach used to be at the University of Indianapolis, I think they will be a lot better in years to come. Just got to get his own dudes in there. All right. If you thought that was a degenerate play, oh, kids, you haven't seen a damn thing yet. I've got the Degenerate Special, except no substitutes, coming up next on the Degenerates Next Door. Having a good time with you guys here on the Degenerates Next Door. Sports betting and other stuff, degenerate stuff, brought to you by StatFactory.io. All right, I know my guy David Stefanoff tried his damnedest to steal my thunder. But nobody can ever properly, even if they try, successfully rip off the Degenerate Special.
It's time for Hammer's Degenerate Special.
Okay, David, you want to do a Horizon League game. That's fine. I'm going to take you to the NEC, baby. Stonehill at Fairleigh Dickinson. That's right, Fairleigh Dickinson. They are a 3.5-point favorite at home. Over-under is 141.5. Fairleigh Dickinson reminds me of a great joke that mutual friend and fellow degenerate comedian Scott Long once said.
Yeah.
Fairleigh Dickinson sounds like something you would say the morning after when one of your buddies asks, "Hey, did you give it hard to that chick you took home from the bar last night?" Well, I don't know. It wasn't my best effort. It was a Fairleigh Dickinson.
It wasn't my best.
Fairleigh Dickinson. You know, maybe she's had better, but it was Fairleigh Dickinson. FDU has a conference record of 7-7 in the Northeast Conference, 11-18 overall. Stonehill comes in 6-8 in the NEC, 14-15 overall. So what do we do with this? Fairleigh Dickinson has dominated the recent head-to-head encounters with Stonehill. And yes, I spent time on the plane researching this matchup. So go back to January 24th, earlier this year. Fairleigh Dickinson won 81-74 in overtime. Okay, that's a 7-point margin. We'll take that. Fairleigh Dickinson won 76-69 in the previous matchup. 7-point margin. Fairleigh Dickinson has won 3 straight games against Stonehill, 4 of the last 5. They are at home. Not my best effort, but she got some Fairleigh Dickinson last night. Give me FDU. We're going to lay 3.5 tonight. Fairleigh Dickinson at home against Stonehill. That is your Degenerate Special. Now, Rob Kendall, I've got a serious question for you. Are you ready to get nuts?
Yeah.
All right, want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts!
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
All right, what are we looking at?
Well, baseball season's getting ready to begin. I mean, spring training has begun, so I guess that's kind of baseball season. But the games that count, we're less than a month away, right?
Oh, yeah.
The game's
Oh,
counting.
yeah.
And I was looking through the World Series odds, and I mean, it's so boring to take the Dodgers or the Yankees. I mean, the Dodgers are plus 240.
You know who's betting on the Dodgers and Yankees to win the World Series? Al-Qaeda. That's who. That's who. So who do you got? Who are you going to get nuts with here?
Well, okay, so you go down the list here a little bit, and it doesn't seem like every year they lose their best player, and then every single year the Tampa Bay Rays are in the playoffs somehow.
Somehow, some way, in a division where the Red Sox, the Yankees, they spend all this money. Finally, the Orioles are good. All that young prospects have come up, and they're starting to develop. It's a tough division, but the Rays seem like they always find a way to compete. They're kind of like the Twins.
They're 50-1. That means $2 would pay you $100.
50-1.
I mean, on paper, they shouldn't compete, but every year on paper, they shouldn't compete. And every year, they find a way to be hanging around. You're always like, those guys got in the playoffs again?
Right. So I feel like the Dodgers are probably the overwhelming favorite.
Oh,
You've
totally.
got the futures in front of you,
Totally,
right?
plus 240. That's
Okay.
That's ridiculous to win the World Series in baseball. Plus 240.
Right. So if they're that heavy of a favorite, what if you took another National League team? Like, I like the Phillies a great deal. I like the Philadelphia Phillies a lot. Where are they at?
Well, okay, so I got two National League teams if you want to do this. Okay, the Phillies are at 10-1.
I thought they'd be a little bit higher.
Here's the other thing. We've got a buddy who's the most beautiful man in all of Indianapolis media, Phil Sanchez.
Good-looking dude.
Wish TV newscaster, who is a super obnoxious Mets fan.
Correct.
And I just hate baseball season because every third post from that guy is something about the Mets.
And he's one of these guys that, for the most part, is like cheer, rah-rah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Cubs fan, but there's nobody more harsh on the Cubs than
That's
I
right.
am.
Mhm.
It's also kind of my parenting style.
Phil also plays imaginary owner guy, where he owns along with the. There's some super rich guy that owns the Mets now, right? Whatever this guy was.
Well,
Made
if you own a team, you are a super
but I'm
rich
saying
guy.
he makes some big splash when he bought the team a couple of years ago. Anyway, and he always is criticizing the ownership decision. I can't believe they spent blah, 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 blah. But then when the guy plays well, I knew it. I knew it. But here's what I'm thinking. If I were to bet on the Mets, then I could hedge having to deal with Phil Sanchez's Twitter account all summer long.
Okay.
See, I could cheer along with Phil, and you can currently get the Mets at 11
And we all
1.
have a friend like Phil. You may not know Phil, but if you're listening, you've probably got that one fan. Maybe he's a Braves fan. Maybe he's a Cubs fan, Yankees fan, whatever, that tries to play both sides of the fence, right?
Yeah. So I'm thinking at 11 to 1, if I put $5 on the Mets, that'd pay me out $55, and then I'd have a reason to stomach Phil's, I don't know, what would you call it? It's almost like neurotic fandom throughout the year.
Yeah, it makes you want to root against the team that you really don't even care about. Like, I have no skin in the game with the Mets. Truth be told, I kind of like dudes like Pete Alonso.
Yeah.
But because our buddy Phil is such a big Mets fan, I hope they fail.
Cubs are 30 to 1.
That's ridiculous. Like, the Cubs have treated their payroll like the Pirates, like the Reds. They act like they don't have any money. And then the Ricketts family, they get all defensive, and they get pissed off when you call it out on them.
Here's the thing, though. The Cubs are the overwhelming favorite to win that division.
Ha! Somehow, some way, Milwaukee will win that thing again.
So this brings me to, and it's not big enough to get nuts, but you could get Milwaukee to win the Central right now, plus 290.
I think it's worth a play.
The Cubs are minus 105. How are the Cubs the favorite to win that division?
The Ricketts family said in a recent interview, they just break even. They've got their own television network, Rob. Their payroll is middle of the pack toward the bottom. They sell out every game. They've got skin in the game in like a lot of the restaurants and seating areas around Wrigleyville, and they're trying to pass this bull crap off. Well, we just break even. You know who says that? The A's, the Reds, the Pirates. Not market number 3 and the team that brings in the second most revenue in all of Major League Baseball.
All right, so you got the Rays at 50 to 1, you got the Mets at 11 to 1, or if you want to be a little more realistic, you get the Brewers at plus 290.
See, don't laugh at the Brewers because all you need is for your team to make it to the playoffs.
It's they're playing for Bob Uecker this year.
Oh, that's right. Playing for the Ukes. All right, so those are our plays for today. We're going to have another show tomorrow. We're kind of on a wonky schedule this week because I came back from Vegas and had to make sure I didn't have syphilis and all that kind of stuff. So another show coming to you tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. Tonight, I am on the under in the Nuggets and Bucks, 240.5. I got Fairleigh Dickinson, minus 3.5. And our guy, David Stefanoff, a follow, never fade, has got the over and Robert Morris and IU Indianapolis. All right, may the odds be ever in your favor, and we will talk to you tomorrow right here on the Degenerates Next Door. Good luck, everybody.